Investors lack vision. They get carried away in the moment because what they see is flow of things which come on their table on a very regular basis. I had my own asset management company, regulated asset management company in the past, so I can understand how we think when we are actually investing. And I clearly can understand how we should think when we are actually an entrepreneur. Now I'm an entrepreneur. So investors actually get from what they hear, and usually they do not have adequate vision. Vision comes from entrepreneurs. It never comes from investors.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Founder Spotlight series on behalf of Tracxn, where we invite various startup founders to share their journey, some sort of insights, and some sort of advice to the youngsters who have started things. Well, today with me is Mr. Suketu Sanghvi, who is the founder of Zetheta. Hi Suketu, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you, Supayan. How are you?
Doing great as well. I'm the host for today. And first of all, let me welcome you on behalf of the entire Tracxn family. Thanks a lot for making some time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you.
My name is Supayan Das Gupta, and I'm heading the startup ecosystem over here. Now let's get started with this entire conversation. To start with, we would love to touch base on your background, the backstory behind Zetheta. What is Zetheta all about? And what it has to offer to its audience. Let's start with that.
Sure. So personally, I'm Suketu. I'm the founder of Zetheta, and this is a platform which we launched a couple of years back. The whole idea of the platform was to create, with this artificial intelligence boom which is happening globally, to create something in-house in India, looking at things which is absolutely necessary for a lot of AI tools to get, which is basically the data. So Zetheta is actually a vertical AI infrastructure company, which is planning to build a work intelligence layer of data. We want to be the credible distribution channel for human work intelligence data, the moat which is required for vertical AI and BFSI, information technology and consulting industry. So what we have done is we have done an incredible situation where we want to be in a position where we can train LLMs in future. So how we do it is actually first build the data. So for building the data, what we did is we hired close to 24,000 interns in the last 1 year, and we gave them significant amount of work projects on our platform.
24,000.
24,000. That's correct.
Oh, yeah. That's a very
we have 24,000 interns in the last 1 year, and because we are in AI, it's a big surprise for everyone. But again, the fact that we do not have a single human resource person or HR manager who actually handles 24,000 interns. So everything is completely automated from the time they land on our website, the work projects which are given to them, the submissions that they do. Once they make the submissions, we actually do a full assessment of the submissions as well. Everything is automated in our platform. From offer letters to everything end to end is completely automated. So we not need any human intervention because we have multiple AI agents which takes care of the entire workflow of the candidates. Now, the reason why we build this is because this particular kind of workflow helps us develop and become a credible distribution channel for work intelligence data. What early career talent is doing today is they are using multiple AI tools, LLMs, and completely new markers are coming into the industry for productivity as to how human with machine, especially the AI machine, is actually going to work in future. So what we do is we actually do a work validation through our work projects, where when they make this work along with AI tools and they make submissions to us, how much creativity they have actually gone through, how much mind they've applied, what was their visualization skills, what are the kind of outputs. So every project produces what frontier labs today, especially the frontier AI labs today, cannot easily get. They're getting high fidelity reasoning traces and domain specific judgment from humans doing real banking financial services work, which is captured with their consent and at scale. The corpus is the moat. It is what we will use to fine tune vertical AI tools in future. So we in time will be supplying RLHF grade, which is RLHF stands for reinforcement learning from human feedback grade signal, to these frontier AI labs. So we are collecting that data, we are storing that data, which will be of significant use for making all these AI tools which are generic today into the specialized tools of tomorrow. So that's the kind of area that we focus on. And in this process, what we do is we give like an unbelievable experience to the interns who actually come on a platform. They get projects of very high rigor, of which every project involves innovation or deep research, which they don't get anywhere in the corporate world today. And most of these projects are those projects which would involve automation or deep research in financial institutions in future, which they do not even do it today. And these are the kind of projects which our early career talent can actually experience, learn from, and prove themselves and showcase their portfolio in much better light, so that employers can also pick them up, or if they want to become entrepreneurs, become so much more easier for them to become entrepreneurs of future. We have opened up our platform for employers and for colleges as well, so the employers can actually see the work projects which the students are actually doing with us, or the early career talent are doing with us. Even employers can actually put their work projects on our platform, so that they can test the level of knowledge and productivity of candidates whom they would look to hire in future through our platform. And we can actually do the work validation layer for them to assess how well these candidates actually work, and give them the full reports of it. So we have already launched this business. We are one of the most popular entities right now on social media, and on LinkedIn we have like 500,000 followers in just 1 year, which is like one of the fastest growing startup globally. We are amongst the 0.01% of the fastest growing entities globally right now. And we are now so slowly, we have just started doing employer marketing as well, and that's where we got into your platform Tracxn, which has a lot of features, a lot of corporates, and a lot of information which can actually help us. And we want to be like popular with entities to hire candidates from our platform, and we serve thereof two different areas. So we are building a work validation layer, because job boards have an issue where there is a garbage in, garbage out type of issue, where there is a massive amount of applications which come, which for a HR person to go through the whole process, hire somebody on going through that whole process, then interviewing so many people, shortlisting so many people, interviewing so many people, and then figuring out how that person is ultimately going to work after they select them. We are just inversing that entire hiring process, where people are being tested on how they work first, and only they will be shortlisted thereafter, and then thereafter they will be called for an interview. So we have been we have been welcomed by financial institutions with whom we have just recently started doing demos, and the data from Tracxn has helped us creating this kind of opportunities of creating demos with these employers, and that's one of the reasons why we are on your platform.
Got it. Very interesting, this thing, Suketu. Now, I would love to understand this from your side. In the next 1 year or so, next 12 months, is there something very, very specific which you are very much excited about as far as Zetheta is concerned? If you can highlight something around that.
Oh yeah, I think the biggest thing is everyone in the world are concerned about large language models like ChatGPT, Claude AI, etc. Disrupting the world. I would like to say they are very generalized output today. They are learning significantly. They are going to build more and more specialized kind of models. What they are delivering great today are content which is I would say the essay type content or consent content, which reduces a lot of labor work otherwise. So definitely there are great platforms right now to reduce the labor associated with writing an email, writing a book, writing, so many paragraphs, etc., or even coding significantly. So a lot of coding is being used now. Claude AI, Kimi, GLM, all of them are doing pretty well in terms of those spaces, and they're going to be being better by the day for sure. Where the enterprises will need them in future is going to be specialized tools, where if they are going to build AI agents, and they use LLMs, for the generation of output, etc., and the RAG models that they're going to build, then they need to build a lot of engineering layers on the top of it, to make it like a specialized output. So Zetheta will be in a very interesting position in India, who could actually give two things which are absolutely essential to this world of AI. One is human labor, who is actually work validated by us. India has a significant amount of knowledge base, but little opportunities. And one of the biggest problems with India is that because of the size of the population, hiring is a very, very huge problem in terms of figuring out whom to hire in the first place. There's just too many people here, right? Do I hire people from IITs? Do I hire people from tier 2, tier 3, who are taking more effort? Do they have the knowledge base to actually do these projects? People are confused in India big time. Every financial institution is saying campus should do something. Campus is saying, financial institutions should do something. Everyone is passing the buck. We have taken the buck ourselves to organize this entire industry of talent management in India. And we believe we will be able to get work validated, candidates who are right for financial institutions on both tech side and deep tech side. Also for information technology companies, for their requirements with cross-domain knowledge, which is absolutely essential in any field. So this is one area which we are looking to solve. The second area, which is also even more material today, is other than labor, is the tools which are used for reducing labor, which is AI. So when you are actually having AI tools, you need data behind it. You need the work validation layers behind it. You need the work intelligence layers behind it. And we are going to be the data suppliers on which LLMs and special AI tools will be built. So this is the kind of second layer which we are also creating. So we believe if we create these two layers, we will become a very important entity globally, not just for India, globally, to feed the boom of human plus AI, which is going to be required in future, and alone AI without humans, which is going to be required in future. So both these segments, we want to be like the entity who would be actually, be indispensable for the world.
Got it. Got it. Very interesting. So when you said this in the conversation that India has a great talent and great knowledge source, right? That brings me to a very interesting piece of information, or rather data. It says that US population is around 34.9 crore, and India has the same 34.9 crore students. So you can understand, right, the kind of knowledge and the kind of superpower that we are going to be another 10 years, 20 years from now, right? Okay. Now, it will be very
Supayan, on the data, sorry to intervene in between, Supayan, just a data point I'll tell you. You talked about this data.
Yeah.
We are a startup, and in our first year, Supayan, we got 1.4 million applications for our projects.
Okay.
So this is the kind of situation in India alone. And this is India. India is not the only thing. We are in 90 countries globally, by the way, by now, because we started with India, and in India in 1 year we got 1.4 million applications. In just last 1 month, we started deciding to go global as well. And in global, now we have we have early career talent from 90 countries globally now. In just 1 month, we got 90 countries, and we have zero social media budget, Supayan. So we do not spend any money on social media. The students are taking us there. The early career talent is taking us there. The reason is, if you give quality to them, they all want to improve their standards. They all want to do something better. They do not get opportunities, Supayan, anywhere in the world. Forget about India, nowhere in the world. We have lots of students coming from US and UK. They do not get opportunities in their own country. The reason is very, very simple. Most corporates, they may be $1 billion or $1 trillion of corporates. They are not spending enough to give opportunities to the early career talent. That's a fact of life. That used to happen 25 years back. They do not have, it doesn't happen today. People are reduced their budgets big time. And this is a space which we feel we can capitalize upon. And that's where the space we are in.
Absolutely. Totally agree with this. Right. Now tell me this, when you started Zetheta in 2023, if I'm not wrong, yeah. Uh, if you remember, one of the most primitive challenges, which was sort of you found it very, very difficult to sort out at the first place. If you can share one of those, I think it will be helpful for us.
Sure, sure. I think for us, we had two sides of the coin. And most of the businesses have multiple sides of the coins. We had two sides of the coins. One is getting candidates on our platform, and the other is getting the employers. Now, employers will not come in if there are candidates, and candidates will not come in, till there are employers. So that's always a circular function that when any startup has to break for any product. Clients come first or the product come first. Everyone has the same issue everywhere when a startup comes, and then you need to pivot your business model accordingly. That this is what works. So we did massive amount of experiments, and I think every startup should do as many experiments as they can during their initial period. And we did that. We did an experiment to start with, where we were giving these projects to candidates, and we were charging the candidates for a very short period of time. We did that. We were cash flow positive immediately. Now, being cash flow positive doesn't mean that we are scalable. Both are two different things altogether. So in our first month after launch, we were cash flow positive, and we decided against it, saying that this is not right thing that we are doing. If we are cash flow positive, that means our scale is not going to come. It will take us years and years to build scale. So if we are getting so popular, then let us drop the charges altogether, and that's what we did. And that brought in, that brought in that big growth of graph that we got in that last 1 year. These decisions are very difficult to take. That should you charge, should you not charge, should you take a loss, should you not take a loss during your initial period, and and you take those decisions once you are convinced that it is scalable. So you take a loss only if you are convinced it is scalable. Otherwise, you don't take it. So I think that's a call that we took, which was the most difficult one, that we would take some losses initially and go for scaling. But with God's grace, we didn't even need to take a loss. So fortunately, we are not like cash negative. We don't need significant amount of funds to survive as a company. But of course, if we now want to grow and scale to a much higher level, to 1,000 times more level than what we envisaged, then obviously we need to raise funds at an appropriate period of time. But these are the kind of decisions which are very difficult one to take for any organization.
Got it. The same, taking your same sentence forward. Okay. If you are looking for fundraising in another 6 to 12 months down the line, in case the answer is yes, right? What do you feel as a very seasoned entrepreneur, I would say, because you have been founder for the last so many years, right?
I think investors, I'll tell you, Supayan, investors lack vision. They get carried away in the moment, because what they see is flow of things which come on their table on a very regular basis. They see I had my own asset management company, regulated asset management company in the past, so I can understand how we think when we are actually investing, and I clearly can understand how we should think when we are actually an entrepreneur. Now I'm an entrepreneur, so investors actually get from what they hear, and usually they do not have adequate vision. Vision comes from entrepreneurs. It never comes from investors. It's never there. I mean, I haven't seen any visionary. I mean, you may call somebody as a visionary investor, but he's still an investor. He can't. I mean, the reason why he's an investor is, he can't be an entrepreneur. You put him into an entrepreneur thing. Now you put your vision into running a business, and he'll get lost, and he'll not be able to run a business. For me, graduating from an investor to an entrepreneur is a very, very big thing, and the big difference between both is vision. So once you actually have a vision that you can actually do something very interesting in the entrepreneurial pace, and you actually go about doing it, and you try to execute every parts of it, it is very different from investing. Investing is a very simple business, but running a business is a very difficult thing. So it requires vision, it requires patience, it requires so many different skills and qualities which you typically don't require from a fund manager, for example. Fund manager has to just do an evaluation and assessment, not as much of vision, but he would typically be having that advantage that he listens to so many entrepreneurs and so many other people with vision. Obviously, that helps him develop his own skill sets of thinking big. So that's how I would say the kind of main difference.
Understood. And taking the same concept of fundraising, or I would say the psychology behind fundraising, what do you feel as a founder yourself? The why, when, and where to start this? Why should a person or maybe a startup co-founder should go for fundraising itself in the first place, right? Where to start, right? If you can throw some light on these things.
I believe you should raise funding when you are yourself 100% convinced that this company can be a unicorn. If you are going to look at it like if you are going to be a $1 billion entity, please go ahead and take funding and show that vision to those people, and go for it in a big time. You will get diluted if you go early, and that's the area of thought process that any entrepreneur needs to have. But if but every business doesn't need to be a $1 billion entity. There will be those businesses which will get tired at the end of $50 million or $100 million. It can never reach. So you have to then select the right investor. So investor who's going to be a typical venture capital fund who have groomed unicorns in the past. They would expect to groom more and more unicorns only. They will not be happy that this is a great company to invest and put $1 million. At the end of the couple of years, 3 years, I'll get $50 million and I'll exit. That will be not there in the DNA. He would want that company to be a $1 billion entity, and for that he would actually put you to burn a lot of cash to grow this very fast. And you as an entrepreneur will need to really think whether is this the right thing. You have the DNA. Do you have the DNA of taking that much risk, which that investor has, but you may not have? So selecting the right investor is more important than and then deciding raising funds in any case. So one has to be very, very clear that if you are a small entity, you might go and you want to remain as a small entity and you're happy with a cash flow business or a $50 million business or something, then you go to the high net worth individuals, your family, friends, and you try to keep the company bootstrapped if possible. Do not go to those entities who actually create $1 billion entities. So do not go to those investors. So basically, that is a very, very important message for everyone to carry, that they should select wisely rather than decide raising funds or not. People just think they need funds because they think the business is attractive. They do not think which investor, what investor, and what strategy they should actually start thinking, associated with fundraising. So fundraising is not a solo fundraising because many entrepreneurs think inwardly. You have to think outwardly in terms of what investors think. That's very critical.
Got it. But very, very interesting insights, I must say. And of course, in terms of fundraising, one of the most important aspects is doing the right kind of benchmarking. When I say benchmarking, it is also about understanding the competitors around. I'm sure something that you would have done 2-3 years back. How about your competition in the similar kind of market? Do you see a lot of competitors popping up every year, or you see that no? I mean, this is a very niche segment altogether. What do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think competition, if it's there, it's great actually. So I would always say it's great to be like second or third one to launch something rather than being the first one, because you have learned from the mistakes of the previous guy and you have burnt that much cash less from the previous guy. So I think any second guy, third guy, fourth guy, and fifth guy, and in any part of the world, including India is even more faster. Competitors will come up. And they are very fast. They are going to be fleet-footed. They are going to, come up in a very, very fast way. So competition, whether it is there prior to your launch or after your launch, does not matter in my view. I think that's not something that one should look upon. If it is there previous to your launch, then you learn from them for sure and differentiate yourself. And don't make the same mistakes they have done. So that's what I would say. But competition should always be welcome. It's always great to have competition. Ultimately, what are you actually doing for the society matters in the end of the day? Are you actually doing something great for the people here? In my startup, I'm so much more convinced that I'm doing great in terms of making the lives so much better, for giving them these kind of opportunities. If more companies come and do the same thing that I'm doing, I'm really the most happiest person in the world. That please do and give these opportunities to all these people. Now giving this opportunity is not easy. It's not easy for any competitor. As I said, I have 24,000 interns and I have 0 human resource person. Largest companies in the world have not been able to do it today, right? So there is a reason behind it, right? They couldn't do it. So it's not very easy for anyone to do it. So you need to have tech in your DNA. I believe my competitors can be the younger folks in India, and they will be competitors, and I would welcome them. But then the problem is that they will do all the automations, they'll do all the tech stacks, very easy to do. What they will not be able to do is the content, to give those opportunities. Like the work projects that we have, these work projects are automation projects, which, for example, are deep research projects, which financial institutions have not even done today. So if I take it to a CEO of a financial institution, they will be pleasantly surprised why I don't have this in my organization today. So this requires vision, and that we have. Fortunately, we have a great team of advisors, board of advisors. They have been CEOs of financial institutions in the past. I personally come from a 35-year experience into financial markets, having set up investment banks from scratch, from zero to taking them to the number one in India, for example, in the past. And then also internationally as well, from financial centers internationally. So I have that kind of global experience and multi-product experience, and being in the front office and developing products at the same time. It has been like a great achievement for me in my career, which I've utilized in terms of now as a thought process to first give back to the society. So much knowledge, so much experience. Why not give back to the younger folks, and in form of work projects that we have packaged, and also give back to my own peer groups, my own financial institutions who have worked with me in the past. And I see how their mentality is. They are always in their own rut. They don't think what can be done in future, and why not even give them a thought process of what they can do in future and combine them together into my platform, where these guys also learn from them side as to what they can do. And even I create if you create a win-win solution for the entire society, you have done it. Now if more competitors come and they do the same thing, I would love it. I mean, I would welcome them and do it, but it's not easy.
That's a very interesting take on competitors, I must say, because whenever I hear the similar kind of answers from a different perspective, right? They are most of the people, I would say, they are more worried rather than having that welcoming nature which you are having. Maybe there's something to do with the difference in age group and difference in expertise. Maybe because of that, I don't know. Great. My last question.
Am I young, or am I looking too old, really? So
you are looking the youngest at the moment for me. The way you have the vision, right? The vision decides the age, not what the people are doing.
Absolutely.
Great. My last question for today will be, being a very senior person in the industry, what will be your suggestion for a guy who is in his late 20s? Because most of these startups today in India are being co-founded by people who are in their late 20s, in between 25 to 30. You must have seen that, right? As per you, what are the do's and don'ts for that young guy, right? So that he can benefit out of your experience.
Sure. I groom a lot of startups. I have, on a pro bono basis, helped a very large number of startups globally, and I continue to do that. And I really love to see the energy. I was in one of this college events where there were 3,000 startup ideas and presentations, and I was the judge trying to select the person who would be actually get funded by another incubator. And it was a great amount of energy that young India, including young people in the world, actually have. And a lot of people are also coming to help them, not just me. I'm just a small person. There are so many people who are actually creating this ecosystem to groom all of these kind of talent. I think the first thing I would like to tell, and I tell it to everyone, is that startup is a very general term. First, you actually think of it as somebody in say 30 years, 50 years back, they were just going and say opening up a shop on the corner of a road. They started their business small. You have seen so many examples of that corner shop becoming a supermarket, becoming a chain of stores. You have seen so many small businesses. Reliance Industries started with a small business. They're the biggest company in India. It was a very, very small business which Dhirubhai started. It was, he never even imagined that this would be like such big entity, but it became, right? So you start thinking small. You can't start thinking that Amazon is $100 billion entity, and I'm going to create a $100 billion entity. I have an idea which can be a unicorn idea. No, you can't think like that. You have to think like a corner shop. Achieve success, which are small successes first, and do not be greedy saying that everything has to be a $1 billion entity, right? So you start small, and if the business is small and viable, nothing, it's beautiful. What's wrong with a small business being viable? It's a startup, great idea. It serves 10 customers. Probably makes $500,000, and you're a couple of persons in the organization. It's a great business. Why not? So every startup is welcome. not every startup is going to be scalable. So you bracket your startup in a particular way. And even if it's scalable, do not think it is scalable. You start small, you build the blocks. And if it's scalable, then it will become scalable on its own. So you don't need to do anything extraordinary there. Like our business, when we started, we never imagined that we will have 500,000 followers in 1 year on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the most difficult social media. Instagram, it's easy. You can create so many strategies on Instagram and become popular. It means nothing because Insta influencers have limitations in terms of how much revenues they can earn. But LinkedIn is a very serious platform. Yet 500,000 followers with zero social media spend, zero spend on LinkedIn. So in terms of pushing posts, etc., we haven't. So this is not something that we could have planned 2 years back. We never thought of it. We thought we are doing something great for the society. It is going to help so many students. It's going to be helping so many, my entire community I know. Why not start this business? We started small. When we got our first money, when we were charging the candidates, we were cash flow positive. The thinking was small. When we started doing that, we could realize that, okay, there are so many people actually hungry out there to showcase their talents and opportunities and other stuff. We should not be charging. We should now scale up. So we took a decision later to scale up, and we scaled up. And we are scaling up every day, but every day is going to be a decision of how much we want to scale up subsequently. So that's a difficult decision which any entrepreneur has to take, and only the entrepreneur can take the decision, not the investor. Most organizations fail when the investor starts taking those decisions. For example, Baiju failed, so I won't go into more details into why they failed, but I'm just saying when investors start taking decisions, they make mistakes because their objectives are very different. Their objective is 0 or $1 billion, which the entrepreneur doesn't have that objective. So have your objectives being very, very clear, and every path of your growth, even if you are scaling up, you will need to grapple with those whole thought process, when to start. If you think that the investor want to take the entire control and take it to $1 billion, you smartly exit. Say you run the show, you do it, fine, nothing wrong in it. It's great to attempt to take it to $1 billion and succeed it, or becoming zero as well. There's nothing wrong in it. It's just that if your DNA doesn't match that investor DNA, then you do not fight with each other. You let go the company, let the investors run it. They'll have professional management running it, and you take the company forward. So I think that's how the kind of thinking of any startup entrepreneur should be, and they should not get emotionally attached to the position that they hold. Okay, I created this baby, so this baby is mine. The baby is going to go as an adult, and will have another household to which the baby is going to go. So do not get. I mean, of course, you should like the baby, you should enjoy the baby, you should actually groom the baby, you should actually even after the baby is gone, take care of the baby. That's absolutely fine, but do not own the baby. So basically, that the baby is going to go in future. So basically, you just be very clear with your objective of not being overbearingly, try to emotionally connect with those kind of companies. It's a commercial enterprise, and it needs to be a commercial enterprise. The enterprise has to succeed, and not you personally. So that's the kind of key feedback for any entrepreneur.
So thank you so much for the deep insights. I think anyone who will watch this video later will have his own key takeaways, right? Whether it's a young guy looking for finding his own company, okay, or whether it's an investor, whether it's a person like me in the middle years of this journey, right? Everyone will benefit for this conversation. I think we had a very fantastic conversation. I wish we could have taken this forward, but because of the time constraint, we will have to stop, at least for today. We would love to touch base with you in 2027 to cover your success story of 2026. Right?
Sure.
We would love to do that, okay, at the later stage. But thanks once again on behalf of Tracxn for giving us your valuable time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Supan. It was lovely talking to you. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Please take care. Bye-bye.